city to trick the people into fleeing the city by turning into the legendary beasts Raiko, Entei, and Suicune. This is Kodai's attempt to try to empty the city so that he can personally look for a ripple of time, which gives him the ability to see into the future. And so, as the movie progresses, Ash, Dawn, and Brock have to rely on Zorwa and their new friends. They need to find Kodai and exploit his plot and try to free Zoroark from his clutches.
AKA, very Japanese story. Come on, it's Japanese anime. You kind of expect it.
If you didn't,
Well, that's...
yeah, you just fail.
That is true.
But that's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
Anyhow. So, yeah.
My personal review for this film. First of all, I've seen the movie in both the original Japanese and in English. The American English version cut out the first 20 minutes of the film for time constraints, and I'm extremely bugged about that. Even though it wasn't necessary to the plot, it still helped out a whole lot. For example, it showed Zorwa escaping from Kodai and flying into Crown City to begin with, which isn't shown in the American version, but like I said.
What I want to know is how it flew.
It turned into a skip loom and just floated.
That doesn't make... Okay, never mind.
Okay, I'll link you to...
No, it just doesn't make sense.
Zorwa has the ability to change into other Pokemon, so it just...
No, I know that, but it doesn't have the ability to copy their attacks.
Well...
Anything. It just can look like them.
Yeah, well, anyway.
So,
so I'm extremely bugged.
they're breaking their own continuity.
I am extremely bugged for Cartoon Network. Apologies for Pokemon International. They actually sued Cartoon Network over cutting the first 20 minutes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so... first of all, yeah, I'm bugged at Cartoon Network for doing that. Even though it wasn't necessary to the plot, it still helped out with the story a whole lot. And I think it would have helped out with the confusion a little bit. It also showed Ash, Dawn, and Brock actually deciding to go to Crown City to the Pokemon Bacher tournament to begin with. But...
Another question. What the crap is Pokemon Bacher?
If they had aired the first 20 minutes, you would know. There's really no real way to explain it.
That's stupid.
There are basically two teams with 3 Pokemon each, and they're trying to... It's kind of like soccer, except the goal is floating up in the air and constantly changing positions. So... That's the...
That sounded kind of dirty.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, goodness. See, this is what happens when we're recording late at night.
Uh-huh.
Or early in the morning, whichever.
Whichever one you want, but eventually it'll be both. In some cases, if we
Eventually,
record long
Agu's gonna say something stupid.
So that's just a Pokemon Bacher, but...
Okay.
Past the first 20 minutes that were cut, it was a tremendous film. I think I like the Japanese voice for Zorwa better, but the English one I've grown to like, mainly because the voice actor who did Zorwa is also the voice actor who now plays Ash's newest girl traveling companion, Iris. So, yeah, I found that pretty interesting myself.
Who's Iris in black and white again?
Huh?
Who's Iris supposed to be in black and white again?
And in white version, she's the 8th gym leader. In black version, she's just some random girl who...
In black version, she is also the gym leader. It's just that you don't fight her as the 8th gym leader.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not that far yet.
I'm at the 8th gym, but anyway.
Yeah, well. Mm-hmm.
The voice actor that they chose for Kodai, I like the English version way more because he actually sounds more professional, more like a businessman rather than just some random guy they pulled off the street and said, "Here's a script, read this."
Right, but
I was
speaking
gonna
of
say, I
Kodai,
think he sounded like a piece of scum, but that's just me.
see, but I think him sounding like a piece of scum actually adds to the character, because the way that they design Kodai and the way he acts makes him a really hateable villain. You just gotta love to hate him. You hate his guts. So I don't know. I love villain characters just because
I like
of that.
good villain characters. I don't know. I was on the fence about him.
Right. I wouldn't go and say that he's like one of the best villain characters, but they got him on the right track.
Yeah, they did. He was actually evil and conniving and actually wanted to ruin people's lives, whereas, Team Rocket is all, we're gonna steal your Pokemon. Oops, we suck.
They do suck.
Never mind. Yeah.
No question about it.
Or
Yeah.
at least Jesse and James, Team Rocket.
We're going to steal your Pikachu!
We're
Sorry.
gonna steal your Pikachu for
Sorry.
like the nth time.
Sorry, not in the mood today. Hey, Pikachu, give them the Thunderbolt, will ya?
Sorry, your argument is invalid.
Pikachu! We're blasting off again. Yep. Anyway, so... And the fact that Kodai's... I dare say that Kodai is the first true evil villain that there has been in the movies, at least. All the other villains have had ulterior motives for their acts. For example, in Arceus and Jewel Vife, the villain just wanted to keep his town flourished. In Giratina and Sky Warrior, the villain actually wanted to save a different world. And in Jirachi Wishmaker, the villain...
So basically what you're saying is they've had justification for being...
They've had some sort of justification, and if you're a 7-year-old kid watching this show, then you could see where they're coming from. You can understand that. Whereas with this film, Kodai really doesn't have any justification. He wants what he wants, and he'll do anything to get it. And
Because he's a jerk.
that's what makes him truly evil. So
Right. Just the jealousy and just the wanting of this particular item, not caring for the countermeasures or the effects of his actions might be. Yeah, he's evil.
no doubt about it.
So
So that's what I have to say about Kodai.
sure is a different take on the
So yeah.
Pokemon villains, which, like I said before, kind of adds to the whole reboot of the series, or the
yeah.
shuffling of new ideas to the Pokemon series.
Mhm.
I definitely applaud them for that.
Yeah. That's what I have to say about Kodai.
They made me care about the characters.
Yeah. Well, and then there's Zoroark. When I first saw the movie, it was like, yeah, Zoroark's the best. But then when I went back and saw it, I'm like, okay, somebody explain to me why Zoroark only appears literally 1/4 of the time in this film.
Because there was no reason for it to have it in the rest of the film.
Well, there was no reason, I agree, but the only times that you see Zoroark, I'm just going to refer to Zoroark as a she or her. The only times you see her, she's being manipulated by Kodai, she's being pretty much attacked by Kodai, she's being injured, and the only time that you finally see her not being hurt in some way, either emotionally or physically, is in the very end scene, which I probably shouldn't have said. So.
I think what they were trying to go for with the name and and only showing Zoroark in those type of situations is to get the audience kind of excited for whenever Zoroark does come into the scene, and because Kodai is the one is the man behind all this, people know by the name Zoroark is a good character, but you're seeing such a good character, or the main title character, hurt and abused so much that you feel for the character, and then you hate Kodai even more. That way, when things kind of finally come full circle, the climax of the movie is so much grander for fans of Zoroark.
Oh, yeah, I guess I can see that. I think that her voice was a little
Stupid.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, but
What I never got was Zora could talk, but she couldn't. So,
I actually thought
you can't really say too much of a Pokemon's voice, particularly with Zoroark. Now, with Zorua, the one who actually has an actor, it's a different story.
Zorua.
I hated how Zoroark's noise, all it was sounded like it was gagging on something the whole time. It seriously
wasn't
sounded like it was gagging. And
Yeah.
it's slightly disturbing. I mean, I don't mind sick humor and dark humor because in the right instances it can be a very good tool. However, considering they already had pretty much a dark theme going on, I don't think they needed a Pokemon sounded like it was trying to choke the whole time.
Yeah, I actually do agree to a point, but I didn't really think of it too much. Just I don't know why.
Oh, it bothered me. Something
It didn't bother me.
Yeah.
fierce.
So, all in all, I'd say Zoroark and Zorua are probably my favorite Generation 5 Pokemon just because they're in this film.
I think though that what Zoa and Zoroark are for Generation 5 is what Riolu and Lucario were for Generation 4. Just a really cool looking Pokemon. And really cool Pokemon in general.
Yeah.
Just they're designed to be cool and attractive to 99% of people who play Pokemon. So that's the point, I guess.
Yep.
Oh, Zoroark's getting an ED page.
Yep.
Points to anybody in the audience if you got that one too.
So, I guess we could end up there. What do you guys say as far as a star rating would go? What would you give this movie?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
You gonna what rate?
It's worth watching a couple times. I don't know. Then I just pick stuff at random. It's worth watching a couple times. It's not a horrible way to spend an evening or an afternoon if you don't have anything better to do. It is a Pokemon movie, but some people really like that stuff, and some people don't. And,
I think I'm gonna be a little bit more lenient than you and go with 3.5 out of 5, or roughly what is that, 7 out of 10? Just for the pretty much the same fact. I mean, it's a Pokemon movie, yes, but if you could get past that and kind of dump your mind of how the rest of the movies before it turned out, you could. I think it'll allow you to kind of see Pokemon in a semi-new light, which is interesting. And I do think they really did a good job with the movie. But even so, I don't think it'll be people outside of the fandom will be too attractive to it natively. So still, so yeah.
Going on a 4-star rating, I'd give it 3 out of 4. Again, not my favorite Pokemon film, but definitely in my top 3. I think the visuals were excellent. The voice acting sucked, like any anime, and it was a terrific plot. And I was just really glad that it didn't turn out to be a huge piece of crap like Destiny Deoxys.
Oh yeah. By the way, all the hate mail
we're not gonna talk about that.
By the way, all the hate mail, you can send it to skull@sourcecast@gmail.com, and make sure you address it to Skull. By the way,
seriously, we don't want any of that since Skull. I guess that wraps up our review.
Except for one little detail. I'm going to share with everyone my script. Not every single word of it. Just some of the key points, like I was telling you earlier, some of the darker stuff. This is real exciting. I have an original first draft English dub script for Zoroark, Master of Illusions, which I got off eBay. Don't ask how much I paid for it, because I don't think anyone should pay any sort of amount like I paid for any kind of piece of paper. But let's just say I'm not going to be selling it anytime soon because I like it.
Again, all the hate mail goes to Skull.
Yes. So, in my script, it has some dialogue that ended up being in the final film. But a whole lot of it had to be changed in order for the film to secure a G rating instead of a PG.
Lovely American censorship.
They've
At least it's not for kids.
They've gotten a little. Yes, thank God it's not for kids.
I can't say on here what I want to do to poor kids, so I'm just not going to.
So I guess it doesn't matter. Let's just say the original script for the English version called for the film to be much darker. I mean, you can't change the animation or any sounds, obviously, or even the music, but you can change what a person says. So the original script called for a whole lot of more dark dialogue in some parts of the film. For example, spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear any spoilers for the film, just stop the recording right now. After this, there's not going to be anything. During one part of the film, when Kodai says, "Quick, Shuppet, use Shadow Ball," and Shuppet uses Shadow Ball, aims it at Zorwa, and Zoroark takes the blow. The original script called for Kodai to actually say, "Shuppet, quick, kill Zorwa," and after Zoroark takes the blow and Kodai electrocutes her. The final version, he said, "How dare you trick me? For what you've done, you're going to pay." But the original script called for him to actually say, "Using a trick on me? How dare you do this? I'll kill you." Obviously, using the actual words death and kill and stuff like that are going to make it much darker, and that would have made it rated PG. And apparently, they don't like kids' films to get a PG rating, so...
Again, the differences between Japanese censorship and American censorship.
Yep.
It sucks.
It's still not for kids.
And one of the dialogue pieces that I think would have been terrific in the final film was, when Zoroark has actually died. And yes, she did die in the original Japanese, and everything that's in the original Japanese is considered for real. So...
For reals, man. For reals.
For reals. That's considered the canon. But, she dies, and Ash in the dub says, "Hang in there, Zoroark. You can't leave. You can't leave. You just met up with Zorba again." But the original script called for him to say, "Zoroark, you can't die. Where will Zorba be in this world without his Mima?" I wish that had stayed, but, censorships. But yeah,
Yep.
that's just something really interesting I wanted to share, and I guess that was our review of Zoroark Master of Illusions.
Yep.
Yep. And my debut back online after who knows how long.